David, we've got a fascinating program coming up next to Anthony Ginsberg out here from LA, South African.
He's got an LA accent, yeah.
He has already. That tends to happen to people who go to California. But we also have a...
He was using words like "hoi."
Well, of course. And we have an interesting chat with Mark Curifani, just pre-recorded, unfortunately. I see he's so popular today. Anglo-American selling its 11% stake in Anglo Gold. The end of an era, that.
It is 92 years. You know, Alec, I was looking through Anglo's results today. I mean, diamonds gives less than 5% today. Gold's gone. And I mean, that was the base on which Anglo-American was built. And it was always associated or symbolized South Africa's gold strength. Anglos, they opened up the Free State, they opened up the West Wits, they had the world's richest gold mines. Today it's gone.
So Ernest Oppenheimer, remembering the book I read once on Rand Lords, bought Anglo-American. He didn't found it, actually bought it. And then built it up into the organisation.
And then he got hold of De Beers from Rhodes, from I think it was JCI.
But there's a Canadian lady who runs the company now, so I suppose anything goes. But at least Anglo Gold is based in South Africa, and they've got an amazing new shareholder. We'll talk to Mark about that. Well, we'll have the interview with Mark about that a little later. Interesting to see IBM.
Going
low profile, but it's obviously been well managed. It's got enough money to now go and buy Sun Microsystems.
I know. This is the first acquisition of this size for some time. And as you say, IBM's almost been in the shadows because you never hear it quoted anymore. It's always Microsoft or Google or Apple. You never hear IBM, and yet it's still a giant of a company.
Clever stuff. As far as our market today, David?
Not bad. We couldn't hold on to the gains. I think we saw the mainly resources coming off in the afternoon. Still people concerned about demand in that market, resource prices coming, commodity prices
gold below 900 didn't
Anglo Gold was up, and I think the overhang has been taken off out of the market now. But also, I think the fact that Paulson has bought it, the hedge fund manager, very popular, very well known, I think it's also given the market some kind of support.
But David, the gold price just dropped below 900 in the last 10 minutes, actually. It's gone from, it's traded 910 all the day, and now it's 890.
I think it's probably technical weakness because, strangely, the dollar was also weaker. And you normally find if the dollar weakens, gold goes up. But it's been actually tracking the dollar lately.
As a chartered accountant, you'll know a lot of accountants. Do you think they're quivering a little in their boots to see that Madoff's accountant is going to jail potentially for 105 years?
Well, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, what kind of audit could he have done? How could you have conducted an operation?
What happened to J. Arthur Brown's accountant? He hasn't been fingered.
You know, you've got to ask more. It's not
Gary Porritt's accountant. He went to jail for a couple of years, didn't he? And then turned state's witness.
No, there are a lot of accountants. They're forced to, to look at the books,
to cook the books. A lot of them. No, but not the SACA members, David. Not the South African chartered accountants.
We ask the right questions.
Of course you do. The Savvy today, volatility index is edging up again towards that 40%.
I think nervousness coming into the market again. So every time the market goes down, I think the Savvy will go up.
And the other big story today was with Larry Lipschitz's company. I worked out that if you had been sitting on 100 shares in October, you would now have those 100 shares would effectively be worth 1/6 of the value of the company. Forget about the share price if you're a long-term shareholder, because they're now going to dilute by another 4-1.
And I see Alan Gray coming in to support them again.
Got a good podcast with Delphine. Delphine believes that now they finally sorted the place out. Now they've got rid of the junk. But you got to ask, how does Larry Lipschitz survive this as the chief executive?
I don't know. I think those are questions that
the other
have
question,
to be asked. Yeah.
You know what's happened to the Pew the BEE partner? Remember, they funded 25% of this company. Those are questions for Larry Lipschitz, who'll be joining us a little later this evening. But just to close off with some interesting results coming out from a small Altix listing called Hardware Warehouse. It's sitting on an earnings yield of 20%, which in this day and age doesn't sound bad, but compared with what you can get elsewhere, it's not dirt cheap.
No, it's not dirt cheap. And I think what we're seeing, funny enough, we discussed it last night, all the good companies are starting to attract support. Also, I think this the Mboweni decision to hold interest rates, hold meetings monthly now, also got the market quite excited. So we saw a lot of retailers now picking up, particularly the cash retailers. So,
and the retail figures for January weren't bad.
They were much better than expected. Yeah. So retailers really, the best performers today.